Students at war with teachers, teachers at war with parents. But there's one man who has powerful strategies for engagement. Conversations that are real. Engaging. Giving you tips for revolutionizing school culture. Culture Conversations with Coach Carlos.
Hey, it's a great Sunday. It is, I don't know where you are, but where I am right now, it's almost 100 degrees. Hey, this is Coach Carlos, and I am chilling right now because I've been outside. I've had my fun outside, and it's too hot to stay. As a matter of fact, when it calms down, I'm going to do some grilling today. But for right now, you are a part of the Culture Conversation show. Won't be here with you long today because today I am just laying the groundwork, the framework, the introduction for what we're really going to get in depth over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be talking about 7 power moves that schools and parents must do together in order to ensure that families have demonstrated that they are true partners with the district. Now, I've been teaching these 7 power moves now for almost a decade, and schools have slowly begun to understand how powerful and how important it is for families to be a part of the academic solution. Now, it's not enough anymore to just drive up to the school, open the door, let kids get out, let them run inside, and then do that reverse and pick them up. It's too fast-paced. Education is too important. Right now, families have to be a part of this solution. Now, I know you're going to say, duh, sure they are. But trust me, as I travel the country, as I work with districts, high and low, high performance, low performance, high income, low income, schools still have not cracked the code for getting families involved. And I'm here to tell you, with us having this issue with recruiting new teachers, retaining new teachers, and if you're in North Carolina like I am, compensating teachers, you can't afford to lay the bulk of the work at the feet of your instructional team. There's got to be a culture of partnership between stakeholders. Now, as we talked last week, everybody knows, but I'm going to repeat it. The key stakeholders are the instructional team, the administrative team, leadership, students, the student body, you've got your parents, and then you've got your community partners. Those are the stakeholders in every school system, every district. You've got 5 stakeholders whose schools, if they're really smart, have a system of engaging all 5 and not just put up a building, have curriculum, hire teachers, hire a principal, and then get students in the building. That's great, but you have to have a system for engaging all of those stakeholders. Yes, community partnerships, we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about creating a system of really engaging your students, a system of really engaging your instructional team. But today, I'm going to lay the framework for engaging your families. I feel really bad for instructional teams that don't have a system in place for bringing their parents on board. And here's the secret. You don't need all parents on board. Let's just say, for example, you have a small school. You got 150 kids, and 150 students are represented by, let's say, 90 parents or 90 families, because some families indeed may have 2 children there, multiple children there. but let's just say 150 kids are represented by 90 families. The question I always ask is, what is the percentage of your families who are systematically partners with the district? And how do you quantify that partnership? How do you know that they're true partners? Because they showed up for a parent-teacher conference? Because they signed a field trip form? Because they always answer emails? What is your district's rubric for determining that these families are indeed partners with your district? Think about it in any relationship you're in. How do you know? How would you say that this person is a true partner of mine? And I ask this question wherever I go, and you would be surprised on how many districts don't really have it laid out, even written out, that spells this is how families are considered partners in this school or in this district. And I encourage you that every single building needs to have its own measuring stick, its own definition, its own rubric on what partnership looks like in that building. Now, the district may have a global one, but what does it look like as a partner in your building? What does it look like to be a partner in the elementary school? What does that partnership now look like in the middle school? And then what does partnership look like from the family stakeholder at the high school? And it looks totally different in at each one of those levels. Families who have children in elementary school, they partner with the school totally different than families who partner with the middle school. And families who are considered partners with the high school, that looks totally different. But that needs to be laid out, spelled out, and then communicated out to all stakeholders. So what I'm going to do today is just lay out what I call my 7 power moves. 7 power moves that are basic. Now, at your district, I'll lay these out, but your school building may say, I want to tweak it here, I want to tweak it there, or may want to change it all together, but at least have one. You've got to at least have one. So if you don't have one, I'm going to give you my 7 power moves. This is the minimum basic requirements, minimum basic. You can build on that. In times coming, I'm going to share with you my success 6, but today is my 7 power moves. I call them the power of 7. So let's jump into it. We won't be here long. So if you're with me, hang in. I'm just laying the foundation. Next week, I'm going to unpack every single one of these 7 power moves. And you got to let your district know, tune in. Check this, and particularly if you have a parent liaison in your building, you want them to have this. If you don't have one, then you want to get me in your buildings quick, because you've got to find a system of tying in your families. Now, I want to encourage you all, as I always do, make sure you like this, make sure you share this, and then make sure you sign up on my YouTube channel so that you get a message every time we go live. I want to make sure you get the most current information. In this season of COVID, you're going to want this information. All right, so let's jump into it. Give me 5 minutes, and I'm going to just lay this power of 7. But next week, we're drilling down deep. I'm going to lay these 7 power moves out. And I would encourage you next week, look over my 7 power moves, but next week, come with your own. All right? Power move number 1 is families should always set high expectations at home. That's power move number 1. I don't care what your socioeconomic status is. It doesn't cost you a nickel. It doesn't cost you a dime to set high expectations at home. Forget what the school is doing right now. They need to set high expectations at home. If they're set at home, when they go into school, children are much more likely to fall in line with the high expectations that are set at school. But if the school hasn't set high expectations, you've set your expectations up here as a family. The school's expectations are here. Immediately, there's going to be a problem. But if parents' expectations are here or non-existent, and the school expectations are here, which may still be low, families may think that that's high, and we still got a problem. But the expectation first has got to be set high at home. When I'm talking to parents, that's their responsibilities, not the schools. It doesn't matter how much money you make, you can set high expectations at home. That's power move number one, families setting high expectations. And there are ways to do it. I'm going to unpack that next week. Today is just laying the foundation. Power move number two. I know you're going to say, yeah, of course, that's what you do. But listen to these. Power move number two is ensuring that children get the appropriate amount of rest. R-E-S-T. Aretha Franklin said respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. I'm talking about rest, R-E-S-T. Children must have the appropriate amount of rest. And if they don't, it manifests itself in all crazy kinds of ways, behaviorally and cognitively, when they get in school. But it masks itself in so many other ways. And I'll unpack that next week. So power move number one, family setting high expectations. Power move number two, ensuring children get the right amount of rest. Because if they don't, the game is lost already. If the expectations are low and they're not sleeping, it's a wrap. It's over already. We haven't even got started yet. But they're not sleeping. Children who don't sleep can't do those high level cognitive functions at school. Those are easy. Those are easy things for families to ensure that they do. High expectations and rest. Power move number three, communicate, communicate, communicate. Ensuring that there is a tie between home and school for communication. I don't know about your school, but how many of you all have an active, trustworthy, up-to-date database, contact base for your families? You might not be surprised, but I'm surprised when I go into schools and they don't have a working, updated list for families. How powerful it is. And as we move into this new era where families are going to be blended learning or virtually learning at home, you've got to have a updated working database. High expectations, rest, communication, an updated database. Real easy, right? 4 more to go. Stay with me. Power move number 4, attendance. If you have a high-performing classroom, a high-performing school, attendance is key because learning is scaffold. It's scaffold. It's built on one thing after another. So if a kid misses one day in a classroom, a high-performing classroom where the rigor is high, one day missed in your class could be 2 weeks of learning out the window. One day, depending on the rigor of the classroom. So it's important that attendance is highly stressed, highly stressed. So first 4, setting high expectations. These are all for families, demonstrating that they're partners, setting high expectations at home, ensuring that the children get plenty of rest. Number 3, communication. Number 4, attendance. Now, going through the last 3 real quick, boom. Homework. Don't want to have to go into a whole bunch of conversation about that now, but you know how important homework is in your district. I'm going to unpack that next week. But that's something that parents should do, families should do to prove that they're in partnership. If kids aren't even bringing work back to school, forget whether it's all the way right. That's not what I'm talking about. But if home is not even ensuring that they're even aware that homework is to be done today, they're not in partnership with your school. And if they're not in partnership with you, it's a wrap already. But that's basic. That's basic. Parents can do these things. Families can do these things, but it has to be a partnership agreement. And when that's going on, if parents are at least checking emails, making sure homework is done, you have an updated email, contact information, you've got a partnership already. It's already in place. But if those things are not there, forget trying to become a high-performing school. How are you going to become a high-performing school and you can't even contact your customers? Right? Right? All right. Last two. Volunteering. We're talking about having a volunteering culture, a culture of parents who will volunteer. We're not talking about everybody. We're just saying, do you have more than 10 go-to parents to volunteer? Not the same 10. Every time you want something done, oh, call Miss Johnson, call Miss Smith, the same 10 parents. No, you've got to build a culture of volunteering. I'm going to show you how to do that next week, right? Last power move of the day. Stay with me. Last one. Expectations, number 1. Rest, number 2. Communication, number 3. Attendance, number 4. Homework, number 5. Volunteering, number 6. Power move, number 7, the last one. That is having parents who will lead, who will take leadership roles in your building, leadership roles in your district. If you can create a core, not the same ones every year so you burn them out, but a core that serves 1 year, they peel off and another group comes on. They peel off, another group comes on. You can create a culture like that, and I'll show you how. Now you have a partnership with one of your most important stakeholders. And if you all have been with me at any amount of time, you know how I assess schools. The 3 R's. I can tell you whether your district is going to die in the next 2 years just by looking at your 3 R's. Give me 2 years of recruiting data. Give me 2 years of retention data. And then let me look at your academic, behavioral, and cognitive data of your students. If I look at that data, I can tell you now whether you're going to live or die. 2 years of recruiting data, 2 years of retention data, students and staff. Any school culture that there's a high turnover in staff, high performance is out the window. Any culture where you can't recruit new kids every year, you're going to have a hard, that's telling me a lot about what kind of culture it is. It's telling me what the people are saying about your school out there, that people aren't enrolling every year. Then you've got to have parents who are leading. That 7 right there, that 7 is the power, that is the leadership that you want in your building. And I'll show you how to get it next week. Stay tuned. This is Coach Carlos. Remember, like what we're doing, share what we're doing, and go to the Coach Carlos channel and sign up. Get the notifications. You'll get them all. We're going to unpack all 7 of these next week, and you'll be ready to go. Appreciate you. Again, this is Coach Carlos. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good, blessed day.
Go to powerengage.net and request your school's free demo so you can revolutionize your school culture. Because student engagement is the one thing that changes everything. Culture Conversations with Coach Carlos, Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, subscribe, and share. Sponsored by Power Engage.